I just watched the strangest live action adaptation to Calvin and Hobbes. Justin.
I'm still upset that they didn't interview any of the animals. Ish.
I don't get any of the memes. Hannah!
We just entered level 95 on
Geek K.O. This episode of Geek K.O. is not brought to you by Sardine Oil. Want to smell delicious to your cool cats and kittens? Try Sardine Oil. Just dab a little bit on your boot and watch your feline veins go crazy.
And you're listening to Geek K.O, the Geek Trivia Podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube under the handle GKO Podcast. Hannah, I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back.
Yeah, I had to go dark for a second there. It took me a while to return. But luckily, I'm a fully digital conscious now.
I know.
And I don't need my corporeal form anymore, so I can finally join you here.
This is our life now, guys. For
I've
those
uploaded my consciousness. My whole personality will live for eternity.
For those of our listeners who don't know, or they are listening to this in the near future, where we are just, I guess, living in the singularity, we are technically in the middle of our shelter in place during the COVID-19 pandemic. So this is now our second episode that we're actually doing this over Google Meet. So Google, hi, sponsor us.
So, hello, Google. We know
Google.
You're listening.
Yeah.
Hey, Google listens to this podcast now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they are because I'm sitting next to my Google Assistant right now. So,
hello, Google Assistant.
Hi Alexa.
Anyway, so today, for our episode today, we are doing Tiger King, which is very topical because a lot of people started watching it because during our pandemic, and it's just a really popular subject right now. So we figured that we'd try to tackle it in our episode. This is actually our first time we're actually doing a documentary type episode. So this would be an interesting one. What do you think, you guys? So you guys watched it? I mean, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, I
love this oral report you're giving us on why Tiger King is a good podcast. a good podcast topic choice.
If you don't know, it's actually really popular.
I guess
is a good idea to record about because people seem to like it.
And that is my thesis. And in this podcast, we'll be exploring.
It's weird to do.
People like it.
It's weird enough to do this in my bedroom.
Yeah, do you think your roommates can hear you?
I'm sure they can.
You're doing a podcast right
they're
now.
Totally
do you think they're
outside.
judging you
they
for everything you say?
They're always judging me. But you know what? Let's open up our End Boss door and see what she has to say. And behind the End Boss door, we have Emily Schmemily. Welcome back to the show, Emily.
Hi, thank you for having me back.
Of course. So you obviously watched Tiger King, and we'll get your thoughts about that in a bit. But how are you enjoying your quarantine?
How are you enjoying?
How am I
Is this
enjoying
okay
my
for
quarantine?
you?
I mean, it's I'm hanging in there.
You're hanging in there.
I live with my girlfriend, which helps. It makes it a lot easier. I'm not alone. I've got a girlfriend and a couple pets, and we're hanging in there.
Well, I'm glad that you're hanging in there and you have pets, because I want a pet. That would be ultra helpful right now.
Yeah. Do you want a tiger? I know some people who sell them.
No, and I hear they're $2,000. Nice transition going into
round one.
I watched Ish forget
Flawless.
that he was recording.
Flawless.
Before we begin, Hannah, it seems like you are playing. You're playing Animal Crossing right now.
You can't tell. You just know I'm holding this.
Yeah. It's a very fancy microphone.
How do you know which game I'm playing? Yeah, like this with my microphone.
Oh wait,
Just
actually. Wait, hold the controller a little bit out more. Are those the special edition controllers?
Oh yeah, they're the right colors. They're the correct colors for.
That's how you know you're playing Animal Crossing, because it's a limited edition.
Anyway, Emily, why don't you go hit us with that first question?
Okay. First question. And I am going to need correct pronunciation on this. What is Joe Exotic's original last name?
Oh no, I know
I
like
looked it up.
I know his like
And immediately
new
forgot.
last names.
Yeah.
Before he was married, before he was Joe Exotic, what did he call himself?
He just called himself Joe.
I know,
Yeah.
just like Madonna.
That's
I was just gonna let's call him Joe Exotica.
Good
There we
guess.
go, yeah.
No, I'm
Mhm.
lying. It's correct. That's not true.
Very
Exotic
kind
wasn't
of you,
exotic
Emily.
enough. He dropped the A.
Ish, do you have any guesses?
Joe Gravtauskas.
Closer? Question mark? No, Joe Schreibvogel.
Schreibvogel. Would have never guessed
Schreibvogel.
that.
Schreibvogel.
Writing bird?
Vogel.
Yep.
Joe Writing Bird. Sorry, that's a German. That's the German.
Oh,
for writing
really?
bird, as far as I can tell.
Interesting.
The more you know.
Schreibvogel. Hold on. Quick question. I have a question. Justin, what is your town called?
It's called Unwindulax.
Okay, because that's what the airport is telling me, and I'm like, surely this isn't. I'll double check this real quick. Continue.
Okay, ready for question 2?
Yes.
Yeah.
What does the GW in the GW Exotic Animal Park stand for?
Oh.
Ish.
Greater Wynwood.
I will accept that for bonus points. Would anyone else like to tell me what it originally stood for?
Oh.
This is a bit of a deep cut. Greater Woodwood is what it currently stands for, but it didn't always.
Right. Was it wasn't it like named after his dad or something like that?
That's very close. Are you giving up, or are you still trying to get
George Woodfellow.
I'll give you a half a point for knowing that it was named after a relative. It was named after his brother, and it was Gerald Wayne.
Oh, okay.
And that is Gerald, not Gerald. So I don't blame you for not being able to get that.
Gerald?
I'm pronouncing it wrong. It's Gerald, but
Robert?
spelled with an A. So I assume that's pronounced Gerald. It could, I guess, just be a weird spelling of Gerald. All right. Ready for question 3?
Yes.
Wait, I think
This is
Gerald
hard
is
because I
actually
have to-
normally spelled with an
Isn't it normally spelled with an E?
A.
Maybe the second half has an A in it.
No, like it's ERA.
I've never met anyone who has a
G-R-A.
name
I'm
before.
saying it's G-A-R in this name.
Oh, okay.
G-A-R-L-O-L-D. Sorry.
Okay, that is a weird spelling. Yeah.
The tough thing too is I have to tab over to look at the questions, which means I can't see you anymore, which throws off my Okay, ready for question 3.
Yes.
Mhm.
When Joe distributed misleading ads for his mall show, what full name did he use for the company?
Big Tiger Rescue Entertainment.
That's very clear. Here's what I'm going to do. If that's extremely close, I'm going to give it to you unless Justin can give me the exact title.
I mean, that's a better guess than I would have given.
Big Tiger Rescue.
Wait, I know what I did wrong.
Well, you get the full point anyway because Justin failed to steal. It is Big Cat
Big
Rescue
Cat
Entertainment.
Rescue, yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Fun fact: I actually heard about Big Cat Rescue way before I heard of Joe Exotic.
Explain.
I was watching random animal videos on YouTube, and then Big Cat Rescue just popped up, and I watched some of their stuff.
The real Big Cat Rescue or Joe Exotic pretending to be a Big Cat Rescue?
No, it was the real stuff. Like, I don't even know if they even had like Carol Baskins on it or anything. It was just like a lot of the crew and just day people just filming what they're doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Question 4. Did Saf lose his left or his right forearm to a tiger?
Saf lost his left arm.
That is correct.
Yeah. Got one.
Keeping track of points, by the way, because I'm not.
I kind of did.
I'm sorry for doubting you. I did see that you were playing
no, you
Animal Crossing.
You absolutely should have doubted me. I'm glad you did. I think Justin, you have 2 so far, unless you want to correct me.
Yeah, I have 1.5.
Oh well, I hate splitting
I'm
points,
kind of
but
the,
here I
the,
go.
the half-point queen.
Um,
Sorry about that.
I forgot, and then we end up like someone wins by a really weird margin at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
Ish, I think you got 1 so far, but it doesn't feel right when I said that out loud.
No, she was. I think he
I
had
got 2.
You got 2. Okay, so we're 2 and 2.
Cool.
Sick.
Okay, question 5. How many wives does Doc Antle have?
Oh.
Ish.
I think he has 1 official wife, and the rest are like
Okay,
a
you're
harem.
skirting the question here. You know what I'm asking, and you know that I'm not asking how many legal wives does he have.
I think.
You broke up. I didn't catch that answer.
Oh, I said I think he's got like 12.
No, sorry.
Justin. I think he has like 5.
According to the documentary and what I could find on the internet, he has 3.
Oh.
Now, I'm not saying I will get. You know what? I'll give half a point to Ish for technically answering it correctly.
I was like, give or take a nanny.
Yeah. Oh no, Jeff Lowe was the one with the nannies. Doc Ansel was the cult leader with the many wives.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I apologize to any mistresses.
Question 6. Which former sports star is a regular visitor to the GW Zoo and was featured in the documentary?
Oh.
Shaq.
That is correct.
Yeah.
O'Neal. I am proud to announce that a scroll of the GW Zoo Instagram reveals the check is still currently going there somewhat regularly.
My god, hilarious.
In the Jeff Lowe era.
No, for some reason I thought it was I was about to say Dennis Rodman, but I think part of that is because I just watched another documentary on Dennis Rodman. However, I would not be surprised if he was one.
I mean, he's gone to more controversial places than the GW Zoo. Dennis Rodman
make way more sense than Shaq.
Yeah, right?
Okay, question 7. Doc on stage at the 2001 MTV VMAs wrangling an albino white tiger for which pop star?
Oh.
Justin.
Can you say the year one more time?
2001.
2001? Was it Brit?
Before I was born.
What was that answer?
Yeah, I was like Britney Spears. Brit.
Thank you. It was Britney Spears. Yeah.
It's Britney, bitch.
It was Britney, bitch. I gave some separation so that you can edit that out easier. Question 8. How many years in prison was Joe Exotic sentenced to? I'm going to give that to Justin, I think.
Is that 26 years?
Ooh, Ish, would you like to try to steal?
22.
22 is exactly correct.
Oh, no. Dang.
Question 9. This is your penultimate question.
Ooh.
In what year did Joe run for governor?
Oh, okay.
Ish.
2016.
Incorrect. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Justin, would you like to steal?
Well, he tried to run for president in 2016, so I'm gonna guess 2018.
Correct.
Okay.
There you go. That's exactly what happened. He ran for president in 2016.
Right.
But he ran for governor in 2018. All right. Final question of this round. Are you all ready?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What reason did John Finlay give for never wearing a shirt in the documentary? Ish.
He had tattoos and just wanted to show them off.
That is correct. I also would have accepted it was fun, which was the other thing he said.
It was fun. I mean, hey, if you got it, flaunt it, right?
Exactly, right?
All right, so after round 1, Hannah, what are our scores so far?
Coming for you, Justin.
Both of you have a 0.5 score. And it's so upsetting.
For Hannah's comfort, since you both have a 0.5, I will accept just waiving the 0.5s for both of them since they even out.
We just give it. Okay, cool. I love that. I love that for me. Justin, you are at 4, and Ish, you are at 5. Any
Nice.
objection?
Well, I mean, no objections here, but I'm sure Ish wants to catch up in round 2. But before we do that, welcome back to the show, Emily. So for those who have just tuned in, and like I mentioned last time, we are now on Spotify. We've always been on Spotify. We're now on Pandora. So hello, new Pandora listeners.
Hi, Pandora.
Uh, For those who do not know who you are, Emily, you are the co-founder of the Benview Network of podcasts, which includes many podcasts that you are co-host on. Can you let our listeners know what shows you are on?
Sure. At various times on the network, it's been up, but it's down to just 2 now. It's
Nice.
Go Go Godzilla, which I host with a friend of the show, Justin Keys, on, and Vic Perfecto. We talk about Godzilla movies. It's on a little bit of a hiatus now, but it will come back strong. Check that out. I also do Dunstan Checks Min with, I'll also say friend of the show. I don't know if you want me to call him that. He's been on less episodes, but Andrew Liddy.
You're all friends.
That is a movies by minute podcast where we dissect the 1996 ape film Dunstan Checks In 1 minute at a time, and we also talk about other movies because Dunstan Checks In is not a good movie.
What minute of it are you on now?
We're in the 60s. We just our most recent episode we recorded. It's not out yet, but we recorded minute 69.
Nice.
I truly feel like you've been recording that podcast for a century.
I know, me too.
It's been a long road with Dunstan. But there's only like 80 something minutes in the movie, so we're close to salvation there.
Well, you've been on our show several times, including in our old Super Geek Supreme era. But then off the top of my head, you've been here for Super Mario. I don't think you were I think you were a challenger on that one. But then you also been here for Fast and the Furious movies. And what are your geek disciplines? What other things are you into?
It's hard to cover seeing as I've been on the show for most of them. Star Wars is definitely a big one. I was on a Star Wars episode of the show. Nintendo's the other thing. I've been a big Animal Crossing fan since day one of that franchise in America. I'm proud to see everyone loves it now.
I was gonna say, do you feel like everyone's stepping on your territory, or you're welcoming?
I am welcoming it. It is very surreal though, as someone who's been playing Animal Crossing for like more than a decade, to suddenly see everyone talk about it when these same people like would just give me a dead stare if I tried to make an Animal Crossing reference before.
Extremely true.
It's gratifying to be proved right. Animal Crossing is a great franchise.
One of the best.
Yeah.
I think the one I memorized, but like the one like you are memorable for right now, and my top of my head is Star Trek TNG. And I will say, ever since that, I actually super got into it like after that episode. So thank you for helping me with that.
I just finished the TNG rewatch myself.
Very nice. So jumping into our topic, Tiger King. So I know that this isn't like a topic that has been in most people's consciousness for a very long time. Although we'll talk about this later, this has been kind of a niche kind of like topic for some certain people, especially in southern United States. But what was the first time, let's start with Ish, what was the first time you ever heard of Tiger King? Or Joe Exotic, or even that time you watched it accidentally?
Probably a couple weeks ago, just seen memes. I just woke up one day. It was probably whenever the documentary aired on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw memes everywhere. And I'm like, okay, this is the new thing people are talking about. Sounds hilarious.
Hannah, did you watch it or part of it, or do you understand what's going on?
I regret to admit, as a person now roped into making content about this, that I haven't seen it. So I'm in the same boat as Ish, except for I haven't seen it, and now my family's yelling. Oh no.
It's okay.
No.
The hazards of recording at home. Emily, how about you?
I first encountered this actually. You see this clip in the documentary, but I remember seeing Joe Exotic that clip on what's his name,
Stephen
Mr. British
Colbert?
on HBO. Was it Stephen Colbert? I thought it was John
No,
Oliver.
oh, John Oliver.
I think it's
Yes,
John
last
Oliver,
week.
yeah.
It was John
Last
Oliver.
week tonight.
Oh, Mr. British, as I called him a second ago. I remember seeing that clip years ago, and then I didn't really give it much thought until the Netflix show came out, and I still wasn't going to watch it. I think I just have a sort of contrarian instincts to not watch trendy Netflix documentaries.
Uh-huh.
But my best friend Lily was very into it, and essentially just hounded me until I watched it.
And what did you guys think of the documentary in general?
It was entertaining.
I think it's a fascinating subject. If I'm being honest, I don't think it's the most well-made documentary.
Right. I mean, I know for me personally, I was the same way as you, Emily. I actually forgot that I even watched that clip on John Oliver's show until I watched this documentary, and it's like, wait a minute, I seen that clip before, and
Yeah.
and then it's just weird connecting it together and everything. But I mean, I guess it was the same as you guys, where like I see this trendy documentary or like just trendy topic in general, trendy show that pops up on Facebook. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a huge documentary fan. I do dig a good, well-made documentary. Um, or just like just learning in general. Like I remember one night I was just kind of just fell into this Netflix hole where I was like watching Lilo and Stitch, and all of a sudden it turned into watching documentaries about like Nazis that live in prison. And I got super
That's
interested.
usually how it goes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, totally.
Yeah.
But as far as documentaries are concerned, like, was this something that that was? I mean, you mentioned that it wasn't really well made, but was this something that you got into, like, really invested to?
Yeah, I think the subject is kind of fascinating enough that you can't help but get interested into it. I think it's very telling. Like you watch this documentary and you see Rick Kirkman was his last name, the cowboy.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
like you
Kirkland,
see
like
him.
the water.
You see him like trying to make his own like reality series about it. There was also I was looking at IMDb today. There were 2 other Joe Exotic documentaries that came out before this, and one more that apparently is going to come out after this. There was a season of a prominent Wondery podcast about it that has been optioned into a TV show for NBC. It seemed like so many different people were just like rushing to do a documentary on Joe Exotic in the zoo. And then this was just kind of the first one to get big, but it's like it just seems like there were dozens of people rushing there with cameras, and none of them wanted to all the authorities. They all just wanted to make some money. But I mean, I understand the impulse for sure.
Before we go any further, Emily, if you could give like a quick like elevator pitch on what the show is about, what would you say?
I would just like Google image search Joe Exotic and say, "Do you want to watch 6 hours on this guy?" And that's all I would have to say.
Okay, so like you mentioned that it was just like a very interesting topic. Like, what do you think is it about this particular series that hooked so many people into it? I mean, even people that I see that typically don't really even watch documentaries, they really got into it. What do you think? And this question is to both of you guys. Like, what do you think about the show? Really got people this like hooked.
I would say one thing is that there's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And everyone else is talking about it, so.
Right.
But I think as far as like documentaries go, like it's so wild. And granted, I don't watch too many documentaries myself, but I'm like, this one, I'm like, man, everyone is terrible.
Yeah, it's like it's just every single person on the show is not just terrible, but terrible in a unique way. Like none of them are the same kind of terrible.
Right.
Exactly.
Although I will argue the only normal person would be probably Saf.
Yeah, Saf's great, and then
Saf is pretty cool.
the documentary did him dirty, which is one of the reasons why I say it's not a great documentary.
Yeah. There's like 2 other people who were like pretty.
I like
cool.
the one without the legs.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, he seemed cool.
Yeah.
Like,
What do you think, Emily? What do you like? What are some of the reasons why you thought that this thing just blew up like this?
I mean, just I'm gonna do the same thing I did for the elevator pitch. Just look at a picture of Joe Exotic. Like, he's just such a weirdo. Like, it's just there's so many different things going about him. Like, if you knew a guy who had one of Joe Exotic's like personality traits or wardrobe choices or hair, like any one of those things individually, he would be the most interesting person you know. And there's just all of that together.
Yeah, just any given picture of him with like the caption of him cursing out Carol Baskins, it's like you want to know so much just from one picture.
So for people who have not watched this before, but probably surely seen the memes about Carol Baskin, can someone like explain really fast, like what is that all about? What is that whole drama about?
Her very wealthy husband, Don Lewis, went missing, and she got a lot of money, and she has access to tigers and meat grinders. And I think you can imagine what conclusion people might draw from that.
And then Joe Exotic's whole thing was trying to persuade people that Carol Baskin killed her husband, so hence all the memes and everything.
Yeah.
So like, what do you think of all the drama that's happening? I mean, not just someone, like a lot of people like post that Tiger King is kind of like a redneck version of Game of Thrones. What do you think of that assessment?
I think we have nothing else to watch. This is like Game of Thrones in that it's on now, just like Game of Thrones was on when I watched it.
And there's memes.
I think somehow that's giving too much credit to Tiger King and too much credit to Game of Thrones.
Hot take with Emily.
And then I don't think
Emily, like, I don't think it's that hot of a take. I think people just like see things and think they're other things. Like, I just got chills reminiscent of every time somebody's told me that I sound like Jack Johnson because I play the guitar. Like, oh, you play the guitar, and so does that guy. Like, that's pretty much it. Like, it's the same. They have about as much in common.
Well, we're gonna talk a little bit more about Tiger King and like they just came out with a new episode very recently this Easter, as well as see if like you guys think that if Carol Baskin really killed her husband. But we're gonna jump into
round 2.
So Emily, what do you got for us for round 2?
For round 2, I've devised a little game called Tiger Sing.
Oh.
Well, I'm not gonna make you sing. Don't worry.
Hannah is like jumping for joy right now.
Yeah.
I just love it.
I'm gonna give you the title of a song, and you're gonna tell me if that is a real Joe Exotic song or if it's one that I made up.
Okay.
And when I say Joe Exotic,
good podcaster.
Thank you.
Beat us all at podcasting, please.
And when I say Joe Exotic song, of course, I'm referring to a Vince Johnson and Danny Clinton song because those are the performers who actually wrote and performed all of Joe Exotic's music.
And you know, I actually just found that out, and I'm so upset.
Me too.
He Milli Vanilli'd
Me
it.
too.
Was it not obvious? Like that?
I mean, I thought it was like maybe him, but like very, very, very auto-tuned.
I wanted to believe.
The first second I saw it, I was like, okay, so who's really singing? Because that's obviously not Joe Exotic.
Oh my god.
Okay, who wants to go first?
Ish, go ahead.
Sure.
Okay, Ish, I'm going to give you the name of a song. You tell me if it is a real Joe Exotic song or if it is one that I made up.
Okay.
Because You Love Me.
Yeah, it sounds like a Joe Exotic song. Sure.
That is correct. That is a real Joe Exotic song. Justin, are you ready?
Yes.
Where's Dawn?
Where's Dawn? You know what? I'm gonna say yes.
I'm sorry, I did make that one.
You took the bait. I saw the bait.
Ish. Here we go. I'm just picking one out. Sorry, I didn't have a set order for these, and then I panicked. Guardians of Children.
Guardians of Children. Oh, I want that to be true so much, but I'm gonna say not true.
That one is true. That is a touching ballad about the plight of about raising awareness for abused children that Joe Exotic felt was something that he could do for the world.
Oh boy.
There we go.
Justin, are you ready?
Yes.
This one's called "Bring It On." In parentheses, please unite.
You know what? Because he did that song for children, I'm gonna say yes.
That is a real Joe Exotic song.
Yeah. You know what? Before you said that parentheses, that could have gone any which way.
Yeah, the parentheses is a real twist within that title.
I know.
Ish.
Yeah.
You ready for your next one?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Okay. Pretty Woman Lover.
Pretty Woman Lover.
Pretty Woman
so
Lover.
Close to being a song title.
Not a Joe Exotic song.
What? Good guess. Despite Joe Exotic, one of his main things, despite him constantly introducing himself as "I'm the gay redneck with a mullet," he did, for some reason, release a song called "Pretty Woman Lover."
Okay.
Wait. Before we can continue, he didn't write the songs either?
No, he didn't. But he commissioned them.
Oh. Okay, so he
And
just
he made music videos for all of them.
But
listen, there are 2 songs about heterosexual love all the time. It's true, but part of his whole brand was that he was gay. It just seems like bad brand imaging.
Oh my god. All right, well, now that we got that cleared up.
Okay, whose turn is it? Justin?
I believe
Justin.
so, yes.
Okay. Spots and Stripes.
Spots and Stripes. Yes.
I'm sorry, I did make that one up.
It wasn't about leopards and tigers.
I made it up, Justin. What do you mean? Was it about leopards and tigers?
Oh no, I was like,
That's what I wanted you to think. Yeah.
It's your creation. We want the backstory.
Okay. Ish. I saw a tiger.
I saw a tiger. Ooh. He definitely... That's probably a lyric in a song. It's probably not a real song.
I'm sorry, that is a real song.
I don't know why I knew that answer, but my whole insides were on fire.
I think that was in the documentary now. Dang it.
It was. Okay, Justin, are you ready?
Yes.
How was I to know?
How was I to know? Maybe if I say it in his voice, how was I to know?
How was I to know? See, and that's my point. Joe talks like that, and you're trying to tell me that you believe that he was singing those songs.
Then no, he did not make that song.
I mean, you're correct that he did not make that song because Vince Johnson and Danny Clinton made that song, but it is a real Joe Exotic song, so you are incorrect.
Your radar for this, Justin.
I don't.
I'm so interested in where your head's at.
I don't.
Truly.
I don't know.
There's only one song that I know.
Justin doesn't know what's real anymore.
I don't know. This is like my whole quarantine life is a lie.
All right, I'm gonna do 2 more for each of you.
Cool.
Ready?
Cool. Yeah.
Ish, it's your turn, right?
Yes.
Song title I'm gonna give you is "Days Like These."
Days like these. Sure, that sounds true enough.
I'm sorry, but that is one that I made up, capitalizing on the trend that a lot of his songs just have super generic titles. All right. Justin, are you ready?
Yes.
Lil Iger Love.
Yes.
I'm so sorry, Justin.
Dang
You're
it!
for a classic Emily. Gotcha.
Classic Emily.
Classic Emily.
I wanted that to be true so bad.
Oh my god.
Ish.
Yes.
You can't believe.
Sorry?
You can't believe.
I can't believe that is a real Joe Exotic.
Wait,
I'm
does
saying
that mean
that.
that your answer is that it's a real Joe Exotic song, or does it mean your answer is that it's not?
That is, yeah.
It is?
Yes.
Well, good news. You're correct. That is a real Joe Exotic song.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay. Justin, are you ready? This is the
Oh, yeah.
last question of this round.
Okay.
Justin isn't ready.
You know what? I'm just rolling with it.
Here we go. Here, kitty, kitty.
I'm not gonna fall for this trap, and I'm gonna say no. It is not.
Oh, Justin.
Oh no!
I had a feeling when Ish said that he knew 2 songs that were on the show. I had a feeling, was this the other one, Ish?
This was the other one. This is the
Dang
song
it!
about Don Lewis.
Yeah, this is the song about Carol Baskins feeding Don Lewis to Tiger.
Oh god.
Alright, so that is
I
the
love
end of
how
round 2.
I'm not going to fall for your little tricks.
I really
here
I
we
saved
are.
that one for Justin because I had a feeling I could get him.
Jeez.
Became a
He
game
fell
for
right
you.
into my trap.
Classic Emily and Switch.
All right, how are we doing after round 2?
Oh. Yeah. Thanks. I was KO'd after that. I'm
Since Emily beat
sorry.
you at this game, she gets to host the podcast.
I know.
And take it over.
Before we hit our score, Ish, why don't you hit us with that sponsor break?
This episode of Geek K.O. is not brought to you by Discount Limbs Incorporated. Stuck your business somewhere you weren't supposed to? Come on down to Discount Limbs Incorporated to get fitted for your new appendage, where it doesn't cost you an arm or a leg.
And you're listening to Geek K.O. Hello! I was about to say something in the middle here, but there's nothing there anymore. Hannah, what are our scores?
Did you?
It's
There's
just
nothing
like
to plug?
force a habit. No, we put the plugs at the end now. Just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listening to Geek K.O., thank you for doing so, because I don't know.
I don't
we've
know.
done-
Wait. Look at did you see the captioning for that?
No.
No,
When you
I
said,
missed
when
it.
you
We'll
said
go
welcome
back.
to Geek KO, the captioning said welcome to Icky.
Welcome to Geek.io.
Like IKKI.
So after that round, Ish is at 8 and Justin is at 7.
All right. So good job, Ish. We got one more round, so I can try to catch back up again. So let's start off with this question straight up. Do you think Carol Baskin killed her husband?
This is really daunting. Like now
I
I
don't-
feel
you
like
won't-
I'm in the courtroom
Yeah.
or something.
I almost don't want to answer because I feel like I would be compliant somehow.
I don't.
That's what I
I
felt.
don't-
That's the energy I got.
I don't necessarily want to like comment publicly on whether or not I feel she did it.
Well, you know,
I've
it's
been meaning,
well, no,
I was
go
gonna say,
ahead.
I've been meaning to ask who this fourth person in our stream, or this fifth person in our stream is. They've been silent this whole time.
Well, I want to ask because, like, you know, obviously there's like theories, but you know, a lot of people on the internet seem to at least want to believe that Carol Baskin did kill her husband.
We're all stuck at home, Justin.
I
Like,
know.
we have nothing better to do but imagine the most dramatic thing that could have possibly happened.
No, that's true. No, that's fair enough. But really, what do you guys think?
Oh my god, Justin, are you the cops?
Here's what I'll say, because
Justin!
I don't think it's necessarily responsible or fair to Carol Baskin or to anyone else for me to say anything about it. What I will say, for someone as wild as Joe Exotic, he does make he makes a weirdly compelling case for someone as out there as him, for someone who doesn't seem to have his stuff together, for someone who seems to make off-base claims a lot.
Mhm.
He's the narrative he suggests is more plausible than anything else he has ever said.
Okay, fair enough. Ish, do you have any thoughts?
Well, from the little bit that I've seen, Carol Baskins is definitely a weird lady.
That doesn't hold up in court.
Let me tell you something about.
Ish is up on the stand and he's like,
Let me
what
tell
I've
you
seen is
something
she's
about
pretty
character
weird.
Witnesses. They're usually all not that reliable. So
Yeah, I think. Sorry, I'm
was gonna say, yeah,
making
this
this my
is-
interview now.
it's kind of hard to get like a read on her because
Yeah.
like some of the stuff she says, like you're like, why? Granted, it is like, with the production and stuff, and she probably has something of a script, and I'm like, there, she has like a lot of like weird word choices, and she almost always has like no like facial reactions to anything. It's like she is in a constant state of Botox where she just like can only move like maybe two muscles in her face.
Yeah, she always has kind of the same smile, and every
Yeah.
time we see her.
It feels like
The so-called Mother Teresa of tigers.
that's really in keeping. Again, I'm talking like I've seen it. I haven't seen it, but like I'm just thinking of all of the true crime content I have ever seen, and like
Yeah.
whoever makes that content, like whoever films it, is really into the like. They're like finally a stone cold like this person has no
Yeah.
facial expression, which is what makes them interesting to talk to for a long time on camera. It's just watching them look inhuman.
Well, the Carol, what do you call it? I mean, I was just like watching this, and then it just seems like even Carol Baskin and her, I don't know what she calls it. She doesn't call it a zoo, but it's pretty much a zoo still. I mean, I know that there's
It's
this
a rescue.
Oh yeah, that's what she calls it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I will point out, to be fair to Carol Baskin, the documentary definitely frames that in a certain way. What is not in the documentary is that she keeps those tigers because she can't release them, because if she did, they would just get killed instantly in the wild,
Right,
because
right.
the way they've been bred, and the fact that they're like sort of domesticated. And she doesn't breed them. Like I will say there's a case to be made that what she's doing is not great, but I think the documentary sets it up to be like, oh, is she just as bad as Joe Exotic? And I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, it's funny because I feel like she definitely, I'm sure, has her own issues, but I feel like her rescue, the big cat rescue, like from what I've seen before any of this stuff, like seemed like a pretty good, like they're trying at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have a little vacation spot for the tigers and big cats.
So what do you think about the cultural impact of this? I mean, like I said, at least in my purview, or like my own like little Facebook circle of friends. Purview. Like this is probably like the first documentary in a while. I don't remember the last documentary that blew up like this. Would like that blew up. You know what I mean?
I love the idea that this was the first documentary in a while.
I know. No, for real. Like
my brain.
I haven't made one of those in a while.
I know, for real. That's pretty much what it felt like. I mean, I've definitely. I mean, as a student of film, like I've watched my share of documentaries before, but like, do you think that this is a good thing that people are now like tuning into some like a genre that they may or may not have like tuned into before, or is this just like some trend that is unfortunately going to die out?
I don't know. Because I feel like the last big quote unquote documentary was the Ted Bundy stuff.
I remember the Fire Festival docs were pretty big.
Oh, the Fire Festival, all right.
Yeah.
That made this
Did
one.
anyone watch the TanaCon documentary? Am I the only one who cared?
Which one?
Disaster. Just YouTube disasters. Just love it. Just love TanaCon. Bye.
Ooh, YouTube is a great place for disasters.
Just like more, like it came out at the same time as the Firefest documentary, and wasn't there another one? It felt like there was like a big 3 disaster town documentaries that came out around the same time.
That might have been around the same time Disaster Artist came out, so they might be getting confused with that.
I think it was like a year before.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't help my narrative that I'm trying to build.
You sound just like one of the editors of Tiger King right now.
So if we weren't in quarantine, would you have like watched this? Like, what do you guys think? Like, would you have like? I mean, yes, we're doing this for this podcast right now. I know Ish watched it because of this podcast, but like, let's say that we didn't do this for the podcast. Like, would you guys have watched it eventually, or?
I watched this at the insistence of my best friend in the world, so I guess the question is, would she have watched it if not for quarantine? That's really what it comes down to for me.
How about you, Ish?
I I probably would have eventually. I don't know if I would have finished it, but I probably would have seen like the first couple episodes at some point,
Hmm.
Yeah.
just to be like, okay, I need to see the source of the memes.
Well, hopefully, like there are people out there that actually started watching a lot more documentaries because of this. Are there any? I want to ask you guys, like, are there any documentaries you like, even offbeat documentaries you think that people would like get into?
Yes.
I have one.
I have
Oh,
one as well.
yeah, go for it, please. This is
So
your
guess
guys' time.
first.
Behind the Curve. I don't know if any of you have seen it, but it's a documentary about flat earthers, and it is fantastic. It is an extremely good documentary.
You had me at flat earthers.
Oh,
There are parts of that documentary that I just still recite because the people in it are just such weird little interesting personalities with little subtleties that make them so fascinating. It's a really great watch. I highly recommend it. Behind the
Okay,
Curve. It's on Netflix.
Behind the Curve. Got it. Hannah, how about yours?
my favorite is Chicken People. And it's about people who raise show chickens, and it's the most delightful.
Show chickens.
Yeah, like they go to chicken contests. I don't know who has the most beautiful chicken. And
That sounds really good to me.
It is. I cannot remember what platform it's on. I want to say it's either Amazon or Netflix. So just like do a general search for Chicken People because it's it was a real source of delight. You gotta get yourself a treat.
Make sure safe search is on though.
Yeah.
Sure.
My favorite kind of documentary is what I call big fish and small pond documentaries, where it's someone who is a very big deal in a very small weird community. That's like, I mean, it sounds like that one is the Show Chickens one. Behind the Curve definitely is. Tiger King kind of is one. King of Kong is another great example.
Oh,
of
that was
That's-
gonna be
that's my favorite.
mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, King and Connie is my favorite. For those who don't know, it's about like this dude who is the best at Donkey Kong, and I think it was because of that documentary I really got into Donkey Kong. I can actually get to like the 4th level now, so it's.
I'm proud of you, Justin.
Thank you, thank you.
Steve Ivey would be proud of you too.
Other than that, I remember really liking the documentary Jesus Camp. It's it's like a fly in a wall documentary, and they don't really, they're not, I feel like they're neutral as they can be about like people, like kids that go to like Jesus camp and everything. It's just like I'm pretty sure that's the term, fly in the wall, but like
I'm too scared to watch that.
it's fascinating. I really like watching documentaries about very niche communities. I mean, it's not niche obviously, but like even like sub communities and sub communities that like I'm not really a part of. Like I mean, it wasn't a great documentary, but I did watch the Brony documentary, and you can probably remember, if people, I might remember this when we did our My Little Pony episode, which I thought it was super interesting because, you know, again, this is like a culture I'm not really a part of. So like kind of transitioning back to Tiger King, like this actually really interested me too, because like from what I know, like I have a few friends that like, you know, from like Florida and like just that, like the South, who absolutely knew about like Tiger King and all these things even before the Netflix documentary came out. And then they were surprised when like everyone started learning about this and was like, wait, I grew up knowing this stuff. But yeah, like Ish, do you have any favorite documentaries that you might want to suggest?
Nope.
Are you a big documentary person?
No.
Oh.
I thought
was-
I mentioned that earlier. I'm like,
I
So
appreciate
indignant.
the honesty.
No, of course not.
No, like I mean, I don't have anything against documentaries. I just don't know that many. I can't even think of any. I know I've seen a couple, but I can't think of any that I have seen.
Okay. No, that's fine. I mean, like, hopefully this got you into watching a little bit more, or even some of our suggestions, even that Flat Earthers one, I guess, right?
Watch it. It's so good. Behind the Curve. I'm telling you.
Cool. So Hannah, what do you can talk about anything you want at this point. Go ahead.
I'm really mad because as soon as I am playing video games, which is not anything you should be doing while you're podcasting. But it kicked me out of your island. So wait, I need to get back to it.
Oh, okay.
So let me go back to your island and then I'll talk.
Okay. We are waiting.
Are you gonna
We
clap?
are waiting.
Good. It's a sick burn.
Oh, actually, while you do that, so one more thing about Tiger King. They just recently released a new episode this past Easter. Did you guys watch it? It was a pretty much like an after show wrap up that was hosted by Joe McHale, and then was just interviewing people who are still quarantined in their homes. A few of the characters that they followed.
Characters.
Yeah, you know. Did you guys
What a
watch it?
character. Oh yeah,
I did.
It was
Yeah, I
actually-
watched.
it was a lot better than I expected it to be.
Considering that like they're all secluded in their homes.
Yeah,
It was about as good as I expected.
it was like really funny and stuff.
What did you expect, or like what did you think that was good?
Well, because the guy, what's the host name?
Joel
Joe McHale.
Joel McHale. Like, yeah. So is he just like an internet personality, or?
He was.
Wow, ish. Wow.
So
I
he.
don't know.
So
As the,
Joel
as the
McHale, an
host of a
internet
defunct
personality.
community podcast, I'm offended.
Yeah, he was on Community, and like before that, he hosted the show The Soup. It was like a clip show.
Oh, okay. He's the guy from the Soup. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Also the guy from Community.
Are you talking about how like he's very like just self-deprecating? I love that about him.
I mean, I wasn't, but
No.
sure.
You
I
got
was
so
just saying, like,
starry-eyed right there, Justin. I love that man.
no,
He's
saying,
so
like,
nice.
it was funny because just reading the description, I didn't know that they brought like there was like a third party doing this. I thought it was like kind of the show.
Oh, the like the
people who made the
the.
documentary was like basically re-interviewing people, and I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, it's gonna be kind of lame. And then so once I immediately saw him, and saw that he's doing. It was basically like his idea, I think, is what he said.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, okay, so like they're having like a third person come in and re-interview them, and I mean,
Yeah.
he's a funny guy, and like I actually really enjoyed it.
Okay. Emily, what did you think?
I thought it was fine. I was a little. I guess it's not necessarily my place to be upset because he wasn't upset. Saf wasn't upset, but Saf is like a trans man who was misgendered all throughout the documentary.
Mhm.
And then Joel McHale brings that up and asks him about it, and he says he doesn't mind, but like also like they flash his dead name on the screen again, and it's like, well, why are you doing this? Like, why are you pointing out that you screwed up if you're just gonna do it again? I don't know, that really
Wait.
frustrated me.
His dead name was flashed. Like
On
was
screen in the main show and in this show.
was wait is Saf not?
It puts Saf in quotes. Well, Saf is his real name. It puts that in quotes alongside his dead name on the regular show.
Oh, interesting. I didn't catch that.
Which kind of sucks of them, I think. I mean, again, like he didn't seem to mind. Like he said he didn't mind. So like I don't know, but
Right.
it bummed me out. Is all I'll say.
No, I understand. I mean, and then I guess when you think about it too, they are kind of like in Oklahoma, so it's.
Yeah, filmmakers aren't, and also like you can still be a good person in Oklahoma.
Oh, true. No, true. You're totally fine with it. Yeah.
Hot takes from Emily. He'll be a good person in Oklahoma.
No, very true.
Interesting.
Hannah, so have you entered my? That was about to sound weird. Did you
I
enter
didn't
my
like
island?
it. You want to take that again? You want to start again, Justin?
So, what do you
ahead.
think of my Animal Crossing island?
Yeah, I just wanted to take the few minutes I get on this show to evaluate your island. How do you feel about that?
Sure.
How do you feel about that?
So, upon arrival, I was actually super surprised. Like,
Really?
yeah, I don't. How many hours do you think you've put into this town? So
I on it every waking minute of my life. Of my
you're
quarantine
really
life.
just on it all the time.
Pretty much.
Because you've really you've created like a city, or at least like a neighborhood-ish center.
Right.
I think it would be taller if it were like a city center. But you've created like definitely the residential area
Uh-huh.
and the backwoods. and you've separated them like really distinctly in a way that like travels really well.
Oh,
Um,
thank you.
I didn't know what to expect, like, because mine honestly rather dingy in comparison, and not that I thought mine was like the best of all time. I just don't have a reference point for like how far along I should be versus how far along other people are with their stuff. Now you do need to answer me a question. Do you time travel?
No, I don't time travel.
Okay, so you really just did this all in real time since the release date.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. And is this the first Animal Crossing game you've ever played?
Yes.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I thought it was, I mean, there's so many things that I can't control right now. At least this is one of them.
Your bridges are wonderfully on theme. It's not like your overall town has like a really concrete like this is the medieval times or something. Like it's not the town that is Tokyo or something. It's like it's a little more humble than that, but it's still like aesthetically pleasing.
Oh, thanks.
I think some people would dock points for it not being as much in unison, but overall I'd give it a 4 out of 5.
Thank
my guy.
you. And
Yeah.
if you guys want to hear a little bit more in depth about like this town, we're gonna do that for our mini episode next week. So tune that in.
Yeah, we're gonna talk in depth. So don't worry, I'll be back.
All right. So Emily, what do you have in store for our listeners who want to keep in touch with you and hear your talkings?
Hear my talking.
It is
yeah.
late.
Boy, we've been inside for a long
I know. Hear my talkings.
You can go to benviewNetwork.com and you'll find all my shows there. Dunstan Checks Min, where I talk about Dunstan Checks In, and Go Go Godzilla, where I talk about Godzilla. They're both on benviewnetwork.com. You can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at Very Cool Emily. And if you go to my Twitter, that has links to everything else. So if you forget everything, just remember at Very Cool Emily.
Very cool. All right, so we are going to jump into
Our final round. I'm like, that is grammatically not set up correctly.
So Hannah, before we jump into our final round, what are our scores?
All right, it's just sitting at 8 and Justin is at 7.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and go first since I am the one that is behind. What is Joe's full name other than like his past name? His name now.
His current full name.
His current full name.
That would be Joseph Maldonado Passage.
Correct.
Thank you.
That is a combination of Travis's name and his new husband, Dylan, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
Dillian? Was
Dillian.
it Dylan or Dillian?
It's Dylan.
It's Dylan.
Because like I think I had the subtitles on, and like it looked like there was like an extra I at the end.
It's Dylan, but it's not spelled in a conventional way. It's like Dillon.
Yeah. Apparently, nothing is spelled conventionally on that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I just realized I could cheat if I wanted to.
Oh
yeah.
During our last podcast, I had my hands right here. I'm like, I have it on another page, and this is me not scrolling over. All right, my question: what was Doc Antle a doctor in?
Oh God.
Doctor.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Thugonomics.
Mystical science.
Oh sure.
All right.
Since I didn't know the real answer.
So name one of the things that or what do you call it? Name name two. Name two of the things that that Joe was convicted for.
Murder for hire was definitely one of them.
That was one.
I mean, copyright infringement, not in the same trial, but he was convicted of that.
Is that I don't know if there's a name for that. Let's see. No.
Trademark infringement.
I mean,
no.
He was convicted and had to pay
$1 million.
a bunch of money.
Yeah. It wasn't the one that I was looking for, but it was murder for hire, which was one. Then there's there's 2 counts of murder for hire, 8 counts of violation for the Lacey Act, which is pretty much which prohibits trade of wildlife. And then there's also the 9 violations of the Endangered Species Act. So
I stand by my answer. He was he was convicted of copyright
You
infringement at
don't know
an
about the
earlier
Lacey
trial.
I'll give you a half. I'll give you half.
Okay. Hannah, I want it on record that I contest that half point. It should be a full point.
All right, Ish, go ahead.
It's a contested half point.
Oh, okay. I believe it was stated in the first episode. What magazine has Joe been on the cover of twice?
Oh, oh, I'm sorry, I swore. I forgot. I'm not in studio, so I'm not used to working like that. Yeah, that's a good question, Ish. It's another one where I don't know the answer. Highlights for children.
It was a Hollywood magazine.
National
Sorry,
Enquirer.
I know, it's called Hollywood.
Hollywood magazine.
Oh, Hollywood magazine. I thought you were saying it was a Hollywood
Yeah.
magazine. Okay.
All right, and
I still think
my
he might
final
have
question
been
for
about it,
you is which rapper has started a GoFundMe or fundraiser for Joe to get released from jail?
Okay, I don't know this, but just based on his prior activities, like that time he bought a bunch of bootleg video game consoles and tried to market them as his own video game console, that sounds like a Soulja Boy move.
No, that would be Cardi B.
Cardi
B.
Yeah.
I never would have guessed.
My guess was gonna be like Takeshi 6ix9ine.
Oh my god.
But
But I can see where you can go there. I see where you're going with that.
I think he called it the Soulja Boy X. If you don't know the whole story of when Soulja Boy tried to market his own video game console, it's a hell of a ride.
I've seen the JonTron videos of that. So good.
I only remember that the announcement that Soulja Boy has come out with a video game console. The fact that it was bootleg and written off as his own is incredible.
Funny thing too is like I think you could also get the same bootleg console for half the price. Like,
oh yeah, it's just like one of those
Amazon.
boxes.
Yeah.
Like you go to like a dodgy swap meet or an Amazon page, you can get it's an emulator in a box essentially.
Yeah, so he's like reselling them essentially.
Yeah.
Ish, your last question.
Okay, my last question. How much was Alan Glover supposed to receive from Joe to allegedly kill Carol Baskins?
Ooh.
He was the quote unquote he was like the highest.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, okay.
I believe what he actually received was $2,000. I believe he was supposed to... There's 2 numbers I have in my head, and I'm certain one of them is correct. I think it was 5,000.
That is correct.
Nice.
It's funny you said 2,000. He was actually given 3,000.
Okay, because it was something where like he was told he was going to get some of it now and then some of it later. I thought, I don't know what I thought, but I got the answer correct, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, that matters.
All right, that was our final round. Hannah, what are our final scores?
So after that round, Ish is at a 10, and Justin is at an 8. Contestant 0.5.
All right, well, congratulations, Ish. You have really stepped up on this one because I
am the new Tiger.
You are a new Tiger King. Congratulations. Simba. All right. So, Emily, thank you very much for joining us again. We always have a good time when you're here. Or here, quote unquote, but hopefully we get to see you again in our studio next time.
What a weird, sad, hopeful thing to say. We get to see you ever again.
Hopefully we see our studio again.
I know. I'm glad you're keeping safe and healthy and everything. So if anyone wants to find you on the interwebs, how can they get a hold of you?
Very Cool Emily is my username most places. Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, those are the main ones. So yeah, just look for Very Cool Emily.
And your shows once again?
Those would be Dunstan Checks Min and Go Go Godzilla, both on the Benview Network, which you can find at benviewnetwork.com.
And really fast, how do you feel that now Community is all on? What is it on? It's on
Netflix.
It's on
Netflix.
Netflix now.
It's an exciting time.
We may have to do a Community episode soon, just for you.
Oh,
I just
would
noticed
love
that today. I'm like, oh,
And
maybe I'll start watching Community.
know who
Probably
Joe
not
McHale is.
Not an expert in.
I watch a lot of TV.
What can I say?
Well, thanks again, Emily.
I mean, sports. That's my weak point. Any sports topic.
Tune in next time when we have Emily on for football.
Just all of football.
Question 1.
American or
What is
European?
a football?
What is a football? All right, you're listening to Geek K.O, your Geek Trivia podcast. Check out our past levels on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify, and Pandora. And actually, we're in like a lot of things, so just search us. And make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Also, follow us on Facebook, Instagram under handle GKO Podcast. And if you want to email us, you can email us at host@gkopodcast, or you can find us on our home on the web at gkopodcast.com. We are normally recorded in Wayland Productions, but because we are shelter in place right now, we are not there. But normally, we are there, and they are they are an award-winning production company for short films, documentaries, and audio dramas. Please check them out at wayland.ws and support the audio-visual arts. Special thanks goes out again to Emily Schmemily, our producer, Hannah Miraz, our composer to our theme song, Marley Rosner, on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at Jostin, at JAAHSTEN.
I'm Joe Necromancer.
And I am Miraz Hannah on Twitter and Instagram.
And our next episode is on.
Firefly.
So until next time, we'll see you on
Geek K.O.